All right, welcome to the Bangor Daily News Sports Show, episode 3. I'm your host, Adam Robinson, with my co-host, Larry Mahoney. Larry, thanks for doing this another week.
Well, it means we're still employed. That's a positive.
Yep, we're doing well. We're gonna try this week to go class by class and
Sure.
Boys and girls sides all the way down, where the top teams, top players, games that we've seen. And we're going to start with Class AA. And Larry, you recently on Tuesday saw Hamden and Bangor girls.
Yes, Bangor girls came out with a 56-50 win, despite shooting 13 for 35 from the foul line. Abby Quinn took the game over, the senior center for Bangor. Go to Bowden, had 12 or 18 points in the second half. Emmy Streams, the all-state point guard who's going to Maine, got in foul trouble, fouled out with 5.5 minutes left. So Abby Quinn took the game over late in the third quarter, into the fourth quarter. She helped them build a 10-0 lead, and then they survived at 9 for 23 shooting percentage from the foul line in the fourth quarter. To earn a hard-fought win at Hamden, overcame 28-point performance by Bella McLaughlin, who's going to Providence. So so Bangor now 5-0, sitting atop the AA heel point standings. But right now the issue with them is depth. I don't know how much depth they have.
Right.
They're playing like 7 players. Maybe as the season progresses. Right now, I think they would be. I would put them behind Oxford Hills and Cheverus right now because of their lack of depth.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if they can develop that and get to so they can play 8 players or something like comfortably, 8 or 9 players, then I think they have a shot. But right now, I mean, Oxford Hills is undefeated at 5-0, and their winning margin, average winning margin, is 26 points. They beat Hamden 70-41. Apparently. They have a great inside player in Ella Pelletier, who's a sophomore, coach Nate Pelletier's daughter, and then Sierra Carson was a first team All-Maine. She's just a difference maker. I mean, she's a game changer at guard. But Nick Winchester, the Hamden coach, said that they just shot the lights out.
Yeah,
said everybody.
Mm-hmm.
They played like 6 players, and they all shot lights out. They shot about 60% against Hamden.
Wow. Yeah.
So I mean, Oxford Hills is a team to beat, but Cheverus, again, after losing to Bangor at the opener. You knew they were going to get better because they had 6 quality seniors that departed. So everyone says, well, they still have Maddie Fitzpatrick and Emma Lazat, which they do. Mm-hmm. All Maine players. And of course, Maddie Fitzpatrick was first team as a sophomore. She's going to University of Maine in a couple of years. But they've got the 2 girls from South Portland, Ruth Bowles and Megan Dearborn, who are integrating into their system. They've got some other players that are going to get more prominent minutes that played JV or a little bit of varsity last year. So Cheverus is going to be a tough out at the end of the year. I mean, so right now I would say it's a repeat, perhaps if you had to predict right now, a repeat of last year's championship game.
Yep.
Cheverus beat Oxford Hills and then went on to win the state. But Bangor, again, if Bangor can develop its depth, and what Bangor has is the 3 Ps right now. They've got paint, point, and perimeter. Paint, Abby Quinn, who's taken her game to another level. She is she's a dominant big right now for the end. Score with both hands, soft hands, rebound scores. Emmy Streams, a point guard, one of the best point guards around, defensive player of the year in Class AA North last year. She can score, but she's just drives to the net, fearless and just really, really good. And then the perimeter is Cassidy Ireland. She's a senior. She had a couple threes last night. Mm-hmm. So, but right now, until they develop depth at them, if one of those girls, Streams or Quinn, if one of those 2 girls has an off night,
right,
and they're playing an Oxford Hills or a Cheverus, I think they're in trouble.
Yeah,
right now.
Yeah, I'd agree. But I watched the second half with you of the girls' game last on Tuesday. And what I found interesting was, Emmy Streams is known for her defense, and they didn't really have her on Bella McLaughlin of Hamden. They had other people on her.
She had 2 fouls early, and
that's
they took her off.
Got it.
And it was but she ended up fouling out anyway.
Yeah, and they were able to do the job because Bella can score. So I think the defense also is a pretty big plus for Bangor, and we'll just have to see what it looks like when they face Oxford Hills.
Good defense, and again, Hamden's going to get better. I mean, McLaughlin had a great night last night. She really took the team on his shoulders. I thought, Lucy Wiles, the guard,
Yeah.
had 13, I believe, 11 or 13. And then Lauren Boder, I thought, did a nice job on Quinn in the first half. Really muscled her. They was really physical in the paint. Then the second half, Quinn just took over. She went out for the ball.
Right.
They got her the ball. Again, like Jay Kimball said, good footwork, good positioning. So
yeah.
So you had the Hampden boys with a rivalry game that turned out to be a blowout.
Yeah, it was score. If you look at the final score, Hampden wins by 11. You're like, wow, maybe it was close, but Bangor outscored Hampden, I think 25-9 in the fourth quarter. So it wasn't that close. Hampden did what they wanted really for the first three quarters. Their point guard, Brandon Butterfield, is really impressive at just controlling the game and getting the ball to the right spots. He can also shoot. And we talked about Bella, her brother Zach, one of the top scorers in AA. He had 23. He had 11 in the third quarter to kind of put it away. And they're just an impressive team. That Bangor team, I talked to Coach Brad Libby afterwards, and it's just a senior class thing. Bangor in football and basketball and baseball, they have to kind of start from ground zero, because I think they lost like 16 seniors, he said, last year. And Connor Boone, I think, scored about 28 for Bangor. He was one of two guys that played any varsity minutes last year for Bangor. So they're still trying to figure it out, but he was happy with what he saw. So Hampden has Cheverus on Friday, which at home, which I think that'll be really good.
Oxford Hill's still a team to beat AA.
Yes,
boys.
I think Oxford Hills is still the team to beat in boys AA.
Tegan Pelletier.
Yeah, Tegan Pelletier, just really, really strong. So yeah, I was impressed with what I saw from Hampden, and I'm excited for that Cheverus game on Friday. But yeah, if we're looking at the whole AA, I think it's Oxford Hills and then everyone else. Portland's gonna be strong. But it's Oxford Hills and then Cheverus and maybe Hampden. We'll see on Friday how they stack up together. So
and Bangor, Hampden obviously will should both teams, Hampden and Bangor, be fringe playoff, or they'll be in the playoffs. It's just a matter they'll be
I think Hampden will
pack to.
I think Bangor will probably be on the lower end, and Hampden I think will find themselves right in the middle. They can rebound well. They can play pretty good defense if they can keep their foot on the gas for all four quarters, which Cheverus won't let them, take it off. I think they have a chance to be pretty good. They lost to Portland last week, and then a delayed game. They had Brewer right afterwards, so that was kind of hard to see kind of where they stack up.
Brewer's handling everybody.
Brewer, we can go to Class A next, but
all right, go.
Yeah.
You start with that.
So
you start with A boys.
Yeah, A boys. Brewer.
And everybody else.
Yeah, it's Brewer and everyone else. You're exactly right. They played Mount Blue on Tuesday night in Augusta and beat them by 32. Their average winning margin is 32.8. They beat Coney, who's 5-1. They beat them by 50 points. It's Brady Saunders, Ryder Goodwin, and Brock Flagg just doing it all.
That's a senior team.
Yes.
Senior lady team.
Yeah, so very senior team.
What's interesting, some of these teams, like Bangor started 4 seniors, Bangor girls started 4 seniors. Hampden just started. McLaughlin is the only senior that started for them, so they'll have some. But then you got other teams that are so senior laden.
Right.
Your Lawrence girls had a lot of seniors, so
and it makes a difference.
It does. And that's what Nick Winchester said about the game last night. Bangor's experience. Like I said, he had McLaughlin, Voter played quite a bit last year. Wild played some. So I mean, but it's the experience comes through. But it's going to be interesting to see how some of these teams go through a rebuild next year. Right.
It's like that Oxford Hills girls team. This is kind of the year you want to do it. You have Sierra as a senior. Molly Corbett, who's probably third in line on that team,
she's a senior.
Senior does everything at the guard position. So and then you go through kind of rebuilds like Bangor is doing right now. But in Class A, it's just Brewer and everyone else. I also watched Nokomis in Augusta on Tuesday beat Erskine by 20. And I was really impressed with Madden White, who was kind of third in command last year, but behind the two Flagg brothers, and has kind of taken over the team. It's his job. He's the leader. And then Alex Grant, their point guard, he can shoot really, really well. Good passer. and him and Madden White get the ball in the right spot. So I'm excited. Nokomis and Brewer were supposed to play last week,
They
but then
played yet, right?
yeah, it got postponed. So they play on January 12th, and then I think like a week
Would
later.
that be the one team you think, who would be the two teams, it's so early, but who would be the two teams that could be face Brewer in the final? Let's say Brewer lives
Yeah.
up to expectations and gets to the Class A1 championship game. Who are
Right.
the two teams that would probably be the favorites to play them in that championship? Nokomis?
Yeah, I think it would be Nokomis. I think Coney, they have a pretty veteran team. I think they might get there,
But Brewer beat them by 50.
but they beat them by 50. So I don't know. I'm very interested to see how Nokomis stacks up with them. I think Madden White. They also have Grady Hartsgrove, Dawson
Yep.
Townsend, who were
Yep.
players on that Warriors team last year that won Class A. So I think they would be the team to do it. I also thought Mount Blue would be a team. I don't know if Evan Sterling played for Mount Blue last night. I know he's been kind of in and out with injuries.
Yeah.
And if he did play and they lost by 30, then that kind of shows you just where Brewer is. But Evan Sterling can also score 30 on anybody. So
And the other thing, unfortunately, is injury and sickness too. That's
Yeah.
the other thing that plays into it. I mean, it's just,
you got to fight through that.
yeah, you do it, and you hope like come tournament time, you're healthy.
Right, and that brings up Skowhegan too in Class A boys who battling injuries to start the year, and they've gotten off to a rocky start, but I wouldn't be surprised come
They
playoff
just
time.
won. Did they just get a win?
Yeah, they just got to win.
Yeah.
So they're another team, I think, come when it matters down the stretch. I think they could battle with Brewer also.
They won the state football.
Yep, they won the state
So they must
football.
have- I know Savage, the quarterback, plays basketball. They must have a couple others too.
Yeah,
that
Savage
have
is-
that pedigree of championship pedigree.
right. Yeah, and Savage is the guy that when they played Brewer at the start of the year was hurt, didn't play too much. So I think if he can come back, a couple of the other guys, Savage is the guy to look for on Skowhegan though. A girls, Larry.
Hey, girls, I mean, I was very impressed with Lawrence last week. They lost to Bangor by 10, but I liked what I saw from them. I really like their depth.
Yeah.
The Bouchard is legit. I mean, she got in foul trouble. She only had 14 points, but boy, she's quick, smart, can hit a pull up, can drive the lane, can hit a three.
Right.
Then they have an Allie Higgins, Elizabeth Cromit. They got a freshman coming off the bench, Provost, who's a good player, Madeline Provost. I mean, and there was another girl, Brianna Poole is a good player. I haven't seen Gardner. I haven't. I know how good Lizzie Gruber is. Lizzie Gruber is one of the best bigs in the state.
Yeah.
There's no question. You're going to St. Joseph's University in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
But I just, Lawrence lost to them by 4. Gee whiz, I just Gardner has got to have some complimentary players because I really like that Lawrence team. And again, poor Neto and Mackenzie Neto, who was one of their best players, got injured in a car accident last year. And then she got a knee injury and didn't play against Bangor. And maybe she can come back. Hopefully she can. The poor girl, I mean, with what she's been through the last 2 years. But I think it's, Nokomis is 3-1, but I gotta think it's a Gardner Lawrence show.
Yeah.
And then they play once more in Fairfield. So but I like I said, as good as Gruber is, I really like Lawrence's depth.
Yeah.
They got like 7 or 8 athletes and they got a bunch of people that can score, and I like them. I did like them.
Right.
So that's what I have in A. So what do you have in B?
In B, let me pull that up.
Ellsworth and Old Town.
Yeah,
Play the B.
it's Ellsworth and Ellsworth beat Old Town on Tuesday, 60-58. They're still undefeated.
Yeah.
Orono is still undefeated, and they play on Thursday in Ellsworth, so that'll be a big game to watch.
Yeah.
I watched Orono play Herman, who last year had some football players playing, and they were a lot better. It looked like Kokoska, the quarterback on the football team, and Jacob Dow, their big defensive tackle, who just got an offer from Maine to play football. He didn't play. He's not playing this year, it seems. So Orono ran them over, but Pierce Walston is a really good scorer, and they have the 2 Francis kids, the brothers Will and Ben Francis. They're really versatile wings. So I think they'll do a lot of damage, but Ellsworth has Chance Mercier, who has been putting up a whole lot of different points.
He hit some key shots last night, according to watching the news. Yeah,
Yeah.
hit some key shots last night. Yeah.
Yeah, he can score on anybody. So it's them, and then a team to watch in Class B is Winslow. They beat Oceanside 77-75, and they have Jason Reynolds, who we've been doing the player of the week voting for the first couple of weeks, and he's been on there. He's probably going to be there again. He had 39 points, 11 rebounds, and 5 assists in that win. So
And it's a 2-point win.
yeah, so they needed every single one.
He's going to have a very legitimate shot to be player of the week, because again, when you do that against somebody you beat by 54, it's
what does it say?
Other than why coach, why is he in there? Why is he scoring 39 points?
Yeah,
in a 54-point blowout, but this is a 2-point game.
No, they needed every single one. So I'm excited to watch that Winslow team more. Hopefully they come up and I can see them, and in the playoffs, if you have a kid like that that can go mano a mano with a Chance Mercier or Pierce Walston, and they can do it all too. So I think it's really a 3-team race on the boys side with those 3. Larry, on the girls, what do you
see?
see?
Girls, again, the same matchup, really intriguing matchup between Old Town and Ellsworth, both 4-0 coming in. Old Town emerges with a 61-58 win.
Mm-hmm.
I think they are the 2 teams. It looks like right now. Old Town now 5-0, Ellsworth 4-1. Old Town's got Sage Evans, who was the player of the year in the Big East, and again, but that's an impressive performance by Andy Pooler's team. Come up here to lose by 3, and he said they've got some good players, some good depth. So I think those are the 2 teams right now we're looking at in B.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, Old Town did suffer some graduation losses, but they play such good defense. And the Cody girl, Gabby Cody, has really stepped in nicely. And they've got Michaela Emerson outside, and Taylor Loring, a freshman, who's really going to be a good player. Really good player now. So and then Alexis LaGrasse, who just does a little bit of everything. Just really steady player. Handles the ball. She can score some, she can drive, she can play defense. And with Heather Richards, you have to play defense. So that was a good test last night for Old Town in Ellsworth, 61-58 Old Town. So I'm sure they play again down in Ellsworth. So I think that's a game to watch down there. But those are the 2 teams I think would be the favorites right now. So that takes us to C boys.
C boys. I will pull that up. Dexter Will Kuzniers is kind of being their leader right now. He scored 25 on Tuesday in a big win over Stearns. Dexter's 5-0, Callis is 3-0. But it seems like Will Kuzniers is the guy that's kind of getting it going in Class C North boys. That's what I have on the boys side. What do you have on C North girls?
On girls, well, we've got it's interesting. Right now, there's 4 teams you would say in the mix. 2 of them played last night. Dexter with a 44-41 win over Penobscot Valley from Howland in a battle of undefeateds. Dexter was 3-0, Penobscot Valley 2-0. Jody Grant's Dexter teams always play stifling defense, and they're a very patient offensive team. They keep scores down, give themselves a chance to win, even if they don't have a lot of top scorers. They're just a very, very well coached, sound fundamental team. Penobscot Valley, again, a lot of players back from last year's team. Hodgson's 5-0, and Hodgson's just winning by an average of 40 points. So I mean, they're the Oliver girl is just terrific. And Oliver, she's terrific, and that's the team. I don't know that the good thing is, I think what we were talking about, did I tell you? I think they are going to play Southern Aroostook twice. So that will be a test. Southern Aroostook, of course, won 3 of the last 4 state championships in D. So that's what they need. But I don't see. Unfortunately, for a lot of teams, like a lot of times it happens in Washington County, where you have kind of a weak schedule. You have like one good team, and then you play everybody else, but you win by 30 or 40. Right. And a lot of the coaches I've talked to have always expressed that concern. We don't know how we're going to be when we get to the tournament because we don't have many tough games during the regular season. But and Hodgson looks like they're going to breeze. but they do have the 2 games in Southern Rooster which will be a real test. And Mananoquah's 3-1. Their only loss is 6-point loss to Penobscot Valley. So Mananoquah's a sleeper and all this. So I think right now Hodgson's your favorite.
Yeah,
I do. I think they're your favorite, but I think the other 3 schools, Dexter will suffocate any team they play with their defense and keep the game close and hope to beat you in the 4th quarter. They'll be in very good shape. Mananoquah's got some bigs. Penobscot Valley's got a lot back from a very good team, and Dave Case does a real good job coaching. So, I would put Hodgson as a favorite, but I would put the other 3 right behind him, and with a legitimate shot to win it. That takes us deep.
Yeah, Class D, and you talking about Hodgson and Ann Oliver. I just wanted to say Walker Oliver on the boys' side. He can score in bunches. He can score a lot. So come playoff time, if he can maybe put the team on his back. But I still think it's a Dexter trying to get back to that C title game that they lost to Dirigo on that game winner. So interesting
to disputed game winner, correct?
Yeah, they think that there was timing things. I wasn't there, but they want that. They want another chance at that. So Class D, on the boys, real quick, just Southern Aroostook again, 5-0. They won the state title last year and lost Dylan Burpee from that team, but they have Hunter Burpee and a bunch of other kids, just like the girls team, returning a lot of players. Machias is 4-0 and Easton is 4-0. So we got some undefeateds, and that will kind of, I think, shake itself out a little bit once we get going. Interested to see Southern Aroostook and Machias play each other. But what do you
play each other?
I don't think
No, I wouldn't think so. I mean,
that's true.
See, one of the problems is with scheduling, and I understand there's no fault in this, but a lot of times with scheduling, I mean, it would be nice. I mean, if you're a team and you're going to have a weak schedule, then you would love to slot in a couple of games against a team outside of your region, because that's going to help you prepare for the tournament. But they're so locked into these schedules. That's why you rarely see a down east team from Washington County playing a team from this region or from Aroostook County. I mean, plus travel. Let's face it too. Travel's a big factor in that too. But it just I wish these schools had a little more flexibility so that they could schedule. Now they do have crossover games in AA and A, but if they could just to give these teams, because some of these teams they may come in 15-1 and then they get absolutely ragdolled, by about 35 or 40 in the 70s by a team that played a much tougher schedule. So, so D, you're talking Southern Aroostook, same in girls. Southern Aroostook Wisdom. I mean, they met in the final last year, and I will be completely befuddled if they don't meet the final this year. I mean, Southern Aroostook's average winning margin right now, they're 5-0, and their average winning margin is 46 points. They're just steamrolling teams basically. And then Wisdom, they're 3-0, and their average winning margin is 37 points. And they're 2 county teams, but they don't play each other.
No, see, that's and I you're right. I checked just now, and Machias and Southern Aroostook don't play each other, and you're right. Travel is a thing, and I'm still getting used to the schedule quirks up here. I know the Sun Journal area and the Mountain Valley Conference, up until this year, they would just play each other, and then it was the same thing once they get to the playoffs and they have to go play someone else. They look a lot different, and their really good win-loss record doesn't really mean too much going into the playoffs. So I think they've changed that, and they give them a little bit more flexibility this season, because there was a lot of complaining about it. But the
one thing too, the other thing I love what they do try to do, the schools that are serious about it will play a very challenging preseason. They'll go and they'll play 2 games in Gorham, for example. They may go and play real good teams from just to, and that's useful. You do play a lot of your players, but also you play a really good brand of competition to compensate for the fact that maybe your regular season schedule isn't as strong as you wish it was.
Good. That's good that and I'm sure that those preseason games are taken pretty seriously, because you're playing out of your zone. So, yeah, girls side, you mentioned it, Southern Aroostook beating people by quite a bit.
Yeah.
So
46 points a game.
yeah, do you think it's theirs to lose again in girls?
Wisdom's got some good players,
Yeah.
but I don't know. I just can't see it. I just Southern Aroostook, an awful lot would have to go wrong. I
Yeah.
just think I think Wisdom will be the team that will give them the best game in the tournament.
Right.
But again, barring injuries or sickness or anything else, I think it's Southern Aroostook, and they've won it. They've won it 3 times in 4 years. They get to the Civic Center and they're unfazed.
Right.
They expect to go out and win.
Right.
And the only blip has been the loss to Greenville in the state game 3 years ago.
Right.
But since that time, and they got foul trouble and didn't shoot well. But they got Madison Russell and
they bring back a
Shields,
lot.
They got 3 Shields girls.
Yep.
Two sisters and they're just. Yeah, they just
impressive.
And then he brings in, you usually have a good 8th grader.
Yep.
That will be like a 6th or 7th man. So, I mean, they just keep reloading every year. So, yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, I mean, Wisdom is the one team I think that could at least give them a battle.
Give them a run.
Could
Yeah.
give them a run, make it interesting, but I can't see anybody knocking off Southern Aroostook.
Right. That's fair. You mentioned, Southern Aroostook will bring in an 8th grader, and some of the smaller schools are bringing in, can bring in 8th graders to help
D
field
schools,
teams.
yeah.
But you just did a story on a couple teams that can't get enough to even field a team.
That's the basic girls. They
yeah.
got to the semifinals in AA, and they've got over 150 students, and they don't have enough girls because of injuries and sickness and whatever. And that's staggering. I mean, D schools, yes, and of course, ranging boys and girls. I mean, but that's what we're dealing with now. I mean, that's life in 2022. I mean, kids aren't playing sports. I mean, look at what 8-man football. 8-man football has saved football. In the state of Maine.
It has.
It really has, but basketball is religion.
Yeah,
Basketball in Maine is, and to not have enough players at a school that went 13-6 a year ago.
That's crazy.
And lost to Gorman in the semis by 10, I believe, or 9 or 10. It just, I don't know. I mean, the good thing is they expect it to be a one-shot deal. They expect to have plenty of players for next year.
Okay.
But the thing that enters into it, Adam, as you know, is if you start a season and don't finish it,
right,
you get a 2-year ban.
Yeah.
You cannot play for 2 years, and the athletic director, Jeff LaRochelle, he said, I just couldn't envision going to a 7th grader and saying, look, I'm sorry, but we're not gonna have a team your freshman year.
Yeah.
Because we got the 2-year ban.
Mhm.
So they didn't want to, and they made both decisions. Brendan Scully and Massavisi, the athletic director, and Jeff LaRochelle made the right decision. They didn't want to pull the plug on their season, but they had to. Yeah. Because they want to, survive for a future season. They don't want to be stuck with a 2-year ban. And the NPA, I mean, it's smart. It's smart because you can't have a bunch of teams start a season and then not finish it without consequences, because then everyone will we think we can have a team, but then somebody get illness or injuries, and then you get 4 or 5 teams and decide, well, we can't play. Now your schedule's all screwed up. Yeah, a lot of teams aren't playing their full 18. And then what happens, like one of them said, like Jeff LaRochelle said, what happens to the heel points? Yeah, exactly. Raisy plays 8 games and then says, look, we can't play anymore. Well, do those games, what happens to the teams that they haven't played yet? Yeah. I mean, maybe teams that beat them get points, and the teams that they didn't play won't have a chance to get points by beating them because they can't play them. So it's a can of worms. It really is. And I don't, there's no answer. I mean, you just, try to get your feeder systems, head coaches just try to make sure they have plenty of players, make it a good experience for kids, and make them want to play, come out and just try to have enough players. But I mean, I would hate to. Can you imagine being a coach with 8 players and just like, God, going to bed at night that, geez, I hope Sally is healthy tomorrow and you can play and give us a few minutes, or I hope Bill, on the boys team, Bill's shoulder's feeling better, because boy, we really need him. We only
Yeah.
have 7 players. And and then in the course of the game, stuff can happen. You can
Right.
come in with 7 players, a kid gets hurt, 2 foul out, now you got 4 players.
Yeah, exactly, which I've seen finish a couple times.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's crazy, but yeah, I think the feeder programs are a big part of this, that you try to get young kids into it. And so by the time, but schools like Rangeley, I don't want to keep going on about this, but yeah, schools
they
like
do
Rangeley,
too,
yeah,
so.
not a lot of kids. So if you don't have kids wanting to play basketball, what are you gonna do? So, yeah, so, but yeah, lesser of two evils, just cutting the
yeah.
the
Take a
season
year
at the
off.
beginning, yeah.
Take a year off, spend a year I don't know about recruiting, but just trying to get kids playing
Interest,
more. Yeah, get them interested. If they're interested, have never played, set them up in the summer and just teach them fundamentals so that they can come out and give them 10 minutes.
Yeah, right.
And the other thing they point out too is each player is different.
Yep.
The Rangers had 7 players on the girls team last year, but he said they were girls that could log a lot of minutes.
Yes, yeah,
Some kids can't. They have asthma, or they have
Yeah.
a medical situation, can't play a ton of it.
right, yeah,
So, but you got to protect the program and
Right.
and not be put on a 2-year ban. That's just devastating.
yeah, that's tough. So, we're running out of minutes on our Zoom meeting, Larry.
Okay.
So, hockey, you have anything from the last few days? It looks like,
Let's see, you got Bangor with a good win over St. Tom's.
Yep.
Impressive. I was really impressed with the way they played.
Mhm.
They won loose puck battles. They've got a good defense core. They're a young team, but we'll have to
Yeah.
wait and see. Veselowski's off to a good start in B tonight.
Yep.
As far as I know, Hampton, Old Town Orono are playing. I'm going to that one. I've just got to double check this year again with these games.
Oh, I know.
You never know. So,
Yep.
but yeah, no, I think B is wide open.
Yeah.
Double A. I know Thornton's good. Bangor's got them in A. I'm sorry, there's just 1A.
Yeah, that's all
1A
right.
in hockey.
yeah, Thornton's good.
Lewiston's usually good.
Edward Little's 4-1, Thornton's 5-0.
Bangor 6-4, although Bangor uses backup goalie because of
Yeah.
So yeah, you're looking forward to that. And then B, like I said, I think B is wide open. So
Yep.
it'd be north anyway. Then not sure about B south, but
Right.
so really should be very good B south. So yeah, so there's a lot of things happening, man. As we
All
get
right.
ready for this is our last podcast of 2022.
Yeah,
Next,
right.
it's gonna be a new year next year, and we wish you all a happy and safe New Year's. It's gonna be in the 40s. It's gonna be in the 40s this weekend, so take full advantage of this.
Right.
It's gonna be a little bit of rain.
ah,
Hey,
who
I
cares?
lived in England 6 years. It rains every day. I'm used to it. So,
There you go.
but I'll be home. I'm not doing anything. Are you doing anything?
I don't think so.
Okay, well, they got the ball drop here, which is always a lot of fun. I've never been to it, but in downtown Bangor. But wherever you are, be safe, have a good time on New Year's, and Adam and I will see you in 2023.
Yeah. See you next year, and thanks for watching.
Thank